to go over the fond farewell for April, excuse me, of 2025. We're going to be saying goodbye to the annual catalog that ends May 5th. Particularly, we're going to be saying goodbye to the fabulous In Colors, the 2023 to 2025, and I'll talk about those as I go through. So we're going to get started here in just a second. Some of you will be receiving your catalog with your kit. If you were long distance and you chose the mail out option, you should actually be getting that in the mail directly from Stampin' Up. Those started arriving this week. So if you haven't gotten it by next week, please let me know. I want to make sure everyone has their catalog before it actually goes live, which isn't till May 6th. So we've got plenty of time. But this is what you should be looking for. It should come like this. It should be shrink wrapped and it's beautiful. So let's get started. We've got 5 projects this month, and a couple of them are kind of complicated. I don't want to use the word hard, but there's a lot of things going on in them. So I want to be as efficient as I can with my time. So I did do some pre-stamping this time. I figure everyone that's attending knows how to stamp. You don't necessarily need to watch me stamp. So let me know if you don't like that. I just thought it might speed things up a little bit. So this first card I absolutely love. It's a cross card. Those of you that were in class last month, I tried to remember to ask each one of you how you felt about doing a cross card, and it seemed like everybody liked that idea. So this one turns out to be really easy. I've got another complicated one I want to give a try maybe next month on, but this is just a little fold back, and then you just have some DSP layers. I love this because we all end up with these scraps of DSP, and so this is a really beautiful way to use them. All right, so let's talk about the supplies that you're going to need. So you'll obviously need some paper snips, some adhesive, some dimensionals. If you have a bone folder, you can grab one of those. If you don't, you can use something else. Take a pick tool. Those are the things that I've gotten out. This particular card, we're also going to be using the Pebbled Path in color. This is one of the ones that's retiring. And then the stamp set and bundle that I used actually is called Unbounded Love. And this is not retiring. It still will be available in the new catalog. I don't think it's in a bundle though. So if you wanted to get it, you might want to grab it while you can get it in the bundle and save a little bit of money. Let's see, what else was I going to say about this? I used the Bow Punch, and that is retiring. And as far as I know, it's still available. And then I used, and I don't do this very often, but I did use a retired folder. And the reason why I did is because I saved this folder because it looks like little crosses. So all of your white layer here has already been pre-embossed for you, so you're going to have that little cross look too. But I just wanted to let you know that that particular folder isn't available to purchase any longer. I love this Unbounded Love stamp set because it has the inside sentiment as well as the outside, and so that, you know, sometimes that's just really nice to have. Okay, so let's get started. There's quite a few little goodies in here, so when you open up your kit, take care so that you don't lose any of the little pieces. There's no embellishments, so you don't have to worry about gems falling out somewhere. So we'll go ahead and we'll get this stuff out. Let's start by kind of setting that fold. Now these folds are at 4 1/4 and 7 1/4, in case you want to make this card again. Super simple to cut. It's 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and then scored at 4 1/4 and 7 1/4. All right, let's go ahead and glue in what we can, and then we'll do a little bit of stamping here. I thought I had stamped that, but I guess not. I'm going to confess that this is my 3rd attempt at getting this video made, and I usually don't have remakes. If I make a mistake on camera, I laugh it off and, you know, kind of explain. But this time, I made so many mistakes on this first card. I don't know if I was rusty or what, but anyway, I was like, okay, we have to start over. And then I had a technical problem on the second shot. So third time's a charm, right? Okay, we're going to go ahead and glue these layers down onto the fold. This long one here goes here. This DSP is Winter Garden, and it was on the last chance list, and when I looked at it this afternoon, it's gone. So I'm not sure when it disappeared. The reason why I used it is because I had exactly what we needed for the entire class. And it's end of the year and I'm trying to use up all the little bits and pieces basically before we start the new catalog. Now I would recommend putting the glue on this rather than the piece, because you don't want any glue to get over here or over here. And you could even use the dimensional if you don't want to use glue. Okay, and then you just kind of line it up with the edge of the card base. Okay, and then we're going to put these in, and this is where I use the dimensional. So you kind of want them to hang off. Yeah, got that. And I'm using the mini dimensionals. These are leftover from the paper pumpkin kit. I haven't opened up a new package of dimensionals for a couple months now. That great big huge one that we got, and I think it was February of dimensionals, has just lasted forever. Okay, and we'll put that on top of that. Okay, now I'm going to stamp this. I do a lot of cards for my Chemo Angels, and so this is just going to be a great card to use for those people dealing with cancer recovery or battling cancer. Okay, so that's got hope. All right. Now we will glue that to the top of this. And then we got to glue this little embossed layer in. And it goes on the outside flap there. So this is a really easy card to make, you guys. Let me know what you think about the fold. I'm really excited about it. It was so easy, and then just the fact that it used up some of these strips of DSP that I have around here. Here's another one that I made. This was my protocol. And this is the Wildly Flowering DSP, which still is available. Okay, if you don't have Pebbled Path, I know most of you do because it was an in color and you've done the in color club with me the last few years. But if you don't have it, black will look good. Dark gray will look good. Wild wheat will look good. Probably a dark brown would look good. Even maybe a pretty pink would, well, I don't know about pink, but anyway, you'll have black would be your backup if you don't have any of those other colors that I mentioned. All right, so that is done. And let's move on to the next one. Let's put this away and grab the next tray. Okay, this next one, we got Father's Day coming up. So I thought we'd do a guy card. And this one uses the Adventurous Sky bundle and dies, and the designer series paper is called Take to the Sky, and I believe all three of these things are retiring. Being an airline buff, airline employee, and lots of members in my family are airline employees or were airline employees, this is, as soon as I saw this in the catalog last year, I had to get it, and it's been a great set for me, and I plan to keep it because unless they bring out another airplane, I'm going to need it. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a couple of things here. I used copper clay. This is copper clay cardstock, and that is another in color that's going to retire. If you don't have copper clay, garden green would look good. A dark brown would look good, and then always black. Or if you have something really rust, like some of the older Stampin' Up! Colors might work well. And then I've got a little tip I'm going to share with you on this. So when we open this up, we're going to find a little tiny embellishment in there. These are the adhesive back texture dots. They look like that. So be careful when you open this up because it's tiny and it's easy to fling out. Now we have an inside layer because this is dark. I've already stamped it, as you can see, and I've glued it down. And then what I did for you was I gave you this piece of cardstock. I know a few people have purchased this bundle from me, so you can use that for the airplane if you have that, the stamp set and the die. But if you don't, this is another one of the dies that's in the bundle, and so I cut each one of you guys one of those too. So that way you can still make an airplane card even if you don't have this stamp set. All right, so, and I already stamped this. Now let me show you how this is gonna go. So we're gonna use the squares, and this is another great way to use up those little scraps of DSP that we all seem to have laying around. And those are all pre-punched for you and cut. You don't have to worry about that. You just kind of lay them out. Your airplane's a little different than the one in the sample, so we might want to lay it out a little bit differently than what I have. I don't really like that on top of that, but let's see here. I don't think we can turn that over. No, we have to go with this. So you can kind of put it however you want. You could lay this out this way and put this here. Let's see. Yeah, that actually looks a lot better. I'll let you decide and play with that. I'm going to put mine on like this, but you can do whatever you want. I just think that the tail of the airplane looks a little bit better on the green. So I'm going to go ahead and glue it down there. So once you kind of get it laid out, it's like a little puzzle. And then you can glue these squares down. And then we'll pop the airplane up. Make sure your airplanes are going in the right direction. You guys, the weather has been fantastic here. And it's been a little hard for me to stay focused on the stamp room when I just want to be outside, either doing yard work or riding my bike. We went for our first bike ride of the season. Yesterday it was beautiful. Let's see here. So if you use this airplane, you don't use this, you're going to have this left over. You can use it on a different project down the road if you want. I'm going to put him like that at an angle. So speaking of that, we'll have class next month, and it's going to be introducing the in colors. So we will play with the new in colors that are coming out in the new catalog. And then I'm going to take summer off. So we're not going to have any virtual or in-person classes in my studio for the summer. Still going to do my class that I do once a month down at Majestic View Estates. And so if some of you are in the area, let me know if you'd like to get invited to those cards. They're that card class. They're the second Friday of each month. They do run full, and I have to accommodate the community first. So I usually put the invitation out to them first, and then after a few days, I invite other people. All right, so you can play around if you don't like the layout of that. You can play around however you want, but that's kind of what it looks like when you're done. I won't be doing virtual classes. I want to be outside, and we've got lots of little projects we want to get done around the house. So we'll start again the last weekend of September with my annual fundraiser, Shelley's Cards, the fundraiser that I do in memory of my sister. Let me get the next project up. Okay, so this one is a little circle card. And this is one of those ones that's a little more complicated to complete. It's got a lot of layers and things going on it. Let's talk about what I use. So I use the Spotlight on Nature bundle. And what I did was I cut the card base with the largest die, and let's see, where is that? I undercut it. So I do want to explain that to you in case you want to try this. So you take your card stock. This is 4 by 8. You score it at 4, fold it, and then you just undercut it just a little tiny bit on the fold. And then that makes a fold for you. So now you have a cute little circle card. And then I've got a couple more layers. One more from the dies, and then some punches. This particular bundle is carrying over, and it is actually going to be a bundle, and it is not in the catalog. So there is something kind of odd going on this year. You know, we have online exclusives. So if you're looking for something in the catalog and you don't see it, and then you also don't see it on the last chance list, it's going to carry over and be an online exclusive. So it will appear in the online exclusives on May 6th. So just so you know that you might not be crazy and you're trying to figure out what's going on here, that's what's happening. So it's not retiring. It's going to go to the online exclusives. Now, one thing you need to keep in mind about the online exclusives is often those are while supplies last. So it may not be in there for the whole catalog year. And I'm just gluing layers together, and I did pre-stamp this. It's stamped with wild wheat, which looks perfect. But if you want to use something different, if you look at this designer series paper, and this is the Country, I'll make sure I got this name right, Country Woods designer series paper. And it coordinates with pecan pie. You can kind of see that in there. And so if you don't have wild wheat, if you have pecan pie, and those of you that are Paper Pumpkin subscribers, we got a spot in that color not too long ago. So many of you will have that because many of you are Paper Pumpkin subscribers. But if you don't have it, a brown would look good. A different yellow, crushed curry, I think might look okay. Or a brown or a green. And then I've just got this little scrap here. And what I did with the little ribbon, this is a wild wheat ribbon, and I cut it in half so that it would be small and not look huge and overpower the card. And what I did was I just kind of folded it in half in the back. Then I used a little piece of Scotch tape to anchor it down back there. You can use glue dots if you want. And then I always kind of like to trim the ends so they're at the diagonal. You don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want. Of course you can. No one's watching. All right, and then we'll just put some dimensionals back there. Now, this is a very small card. It doesn't really fit that well in a regular envelope. So I used just a regular letter envelope, and it fits just right. All right, isn't that cute? Okay, so that is number 3. Let's move on to project number 4. This is going to be our girlfriend card. And this one uses the Lifelong Friends stamp set that's in the spring mini catalog. It is retiring, and I'm really irritated with myself. I bought this to make cards for girlfriends, and I haven't hardly used it at all. So I'm going to hang on to it and get some use out of it. I love the sentiment. So happy to have you in my life. Here's to lifelong friends. Thinking of you, friend. I couldn't have picked a better friend. These are just really uplifting to give to our girlfriends. And we just all need to do more of that. So anyway, here's what's happening here. So now on this one, you're going to need a black ink pad. I used some Memento black. And you'll need some markers or blends. We're using boho blue. And these were already, this is the large dotted embossing folder. It's huge. If you don't have this yet, it's really cool. I love it. It adds tons of texture to your projects. It's in the annual catalog. It is not retiring. And then these were the Spotlight on Nature dies, another set of the dies from that die that we used on the last card. So what I used was the blends on this, but you could use markers. You can use colored pencils. You can watercolor, whatever you like to do to color your images. So I did do some pre-stamping on this. When you open this up, you've got your white card base, you've got your boho blue. You'll have a circle. Your circle won't be pre-stamped. I'm not allowed to do that, but I did pre-stamp it just to kind of keep the video going. And then whatever image you're going to use, if you don't have this stamp set, a flower or something else, take and we're going to do some paper piercing. So if you look on here, you'll see her shorts have got a pattern and then her dress has got a pattern. So I stamped that part of the image just to pick up the shorts and that part of the image just to pick up the dress. Now, Fussy Cutting 101. We want to cut just outside of the line. So, and if you turn the paper rather than the scissors, you won't get those ugly cut marks. I know when I first started fussy cutting, I just everything, of course, back in the day, I'm dating myself now, we didn't have dies and we didn't have punches, so we had to hand cut everything. And I just thought my stuff was just so ugly because the cut marks would show until someone taught me to turn the paper, not the scissors, and you don't get those ugly cut marks. Okay, so there we've got the dress, and now we need to get the shorts. And this is the Wildly Flowering DSP that we're cutting the shorts out of. And then that, I believe, is the Citrus Blooms. It's from that Mediterranean suite. They both have the boho blue in them, so that's why I chose them. And again, you're using up scraps of paper. One of my favorite things to do right now. I tend to save a lot of scraps because they're just so pretty. Okay, then you can do your coloring. I'm going to do just a little bit of coloring. I'm not going to do all of the coloring. But I've got this kind of skin tone blend. So I'm going to color the legs. They're barefoot. They're barefooting. They're getting ready to go to the beach. Speaking of the beach, I went to North Carolina earlier this month, my first time to be there. And my sister lives near Myrtle Beach, and we just loved it there. The atmosphere, the beach, everything was really nice. So I can't wait to go back and visit her again. All right, we got the body colored in. I'm not going to color all of this in. I'm not going to make you guys watch me do that. But I colored the basket, the flowers. And I used colors that went with the boho blue. Highland Heather. Boho blue shirt. But really any light blues. Yellows, like for the hair. One can be a blonde. And one can be gray. I'm kind of making this card for one of my girlfriends that's having surgery next week. She's blonde and I'm gray. I'm a little taller. We're not that slim, but anyway. All right, so we are going to, I'm not going to glue that down right now because I do need to finish coloring it and it's bumpy. So let me glue this to this. And once you get that done, then it goes together really well and quickly. And you're going to see all the texture in this folder. If you don't already have it, you're going to love it. Okay. All right. And then I did use dimensionals to pop that up a little bit. And like I said, I'm going to finish it off camera. Everybody knows how to color. The important things we're learning how to do the fussy cutting and the paper piercing. All right, have fun with that one. It's funny, when I first started stamping, I really didn't like coloring that much. And as I've gotten older, I find it very therapeutic. So I actually do like it now. Okay, last but not least, here we go. The layer from Heck is coming up here. I think we've got 6 layers on this. This uses the Beautiful Butterflies bundle from the mini catalog. And that bundle includes the dies, the stamp set, and then it's got what's called a 3D embossing folder. And let's talk about that 3D embossing folder just a tiny bit. If you haven't bought any of these yet, these folders, the 3D, actually they're called 3D hybrid embossing folders. They've got a couple of uses. You can just run them through like a normal embossing folder, but you can also open them up and put the die right inside. It fits right inside here. Then you put your cardstock on top of that. Here somewhere I have cardstock. Close it. Make sure the cutters are down when they go through the machine, whatever kind of die cutter you're using. They need to be down. If you turn them this way and they're up, you're going to actually dull your blades. I don't even know that it'll work. So make sure they're down. Okay, so then you end up with this nice embossed butterfly, and you'll see that when you get your piece, that you're going to have a really pretty embossed butterfly. I have my window open. It's so nice, and a truck just drove by, so I'm sorry if that was distracting. And I just heard an airplane fly overhead too, so sorry about that. It's just so nice today. Okay, let's get to this project. Okay, we're going to use the Moody Mauve on this one. This is one of my Boho Blue and Moody Mauve I'm really going to mess. So this is an interactive card. You squeeze the butterfly together to open and close it. Isn't that cool? It's a special card that you want to give to a special person. Okay, we use the Wildly Flowering DSP, and yours may be a little bit different than the sample that I'm going to demo on right now. I did not have enough of these Moody Mauves pieces for everyone, so I had to use, well, I did for everyone, but then I didn't have enough to make the sample to demo on. Be careful when you open this one up. There's another little tiny embellishment. It's your butterflies. And I gave you a little piece of foam strip to put behind the butterfly. You could use dimensionals too, but I thought the foam strip would be easier. And then you've got all these layers here. So let's start by, now I die cut this for you. And this die came from the Beautiful Butterfly bundle. I kind of just want to show you how I did this though. So I started out by gluing the DSP to the flap, and then I die cut it. I just laid this on here and die cut it. And so then you have that flap and with a hole in it so that the butterfly can fit in there. I'll give you the dimensions. I don't remember what they are right now. I don't have a ruler laying here. Oh, yes, I do. Okay. So this is, and I'll put this in the PDF too. This is 5.5 by 4 1/4. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And this is 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. And then you score it at 1/4. And now you'll need this because you're going to glue it down behind. And that's how you get the flap there. You do have to be careful about where you glue this, because when the card is closed and going in the envelope, you don't want your butterfly running all over here. And the reason why is it's not going to be able to fit in your envelope. So you're going to have to get a different envelope if you do that. So let's lay this all on the envelope so we kind of stay where we need to stay. If you just put it in the middle, you'll be good. But if you don't want to put it quite in the middle, you can do that. You just need to be careful. Just make sure you lay your butterfly on here so you have him so that he will fit inside your envelope. All right, now we're going to put a little bit of glue on here. You could also use tear tape if you wanted to. I'm going to see if tear tape is narrow enough. This one is. I've got several different sizes of tear tape, so let's just see how that works. I used glue on the sample above, but I know a lot of people don't like glue. And this is probably a little too narrow for any of your snail or other kinds of adhesives that you might be using. So the tear tape is a good compromise if you don't want to use the glue. Okay, so we want it kind of in the middle. All right, and now we can glue that piece to the card base. And you won't see this ugly little folded piece back here. That all gets covered. Okay, now we're going to glue this to the middle of the butterfly. And this die is also in the beautiful butterfly bundle. And then we've got that little embellishment to put up by the antennae. And these embellishments, I like these because they're very neutral. They're called neutral matte dots. And I don't remember, I think they might be an online exclusive. To be really honest with you, it's getting hard to keep track of all these things, the online exclusives, all the different things that are being offered. I do not see my label. Okay, I will have to check everyone's kits and make sure everybody's getting a label. Let's get the butterfly in here and then we'll deal with the label problem. So you've got this long foam tape. Just put it in the middle. And then you kind of pinch the butterfly up. And you set it in here. And you got to make sure that you got it, there we go. You don't want it too high or too low because then it won't go through the hole. Okay. Now somewhere is a little label here. I don't know why I don't have one, but I'll be making sure you all have them. And I want to talk to you about the label because, I swear I stamped that. Okay. I used Moody Mauve ink. If you don't have that, you can use something else. Okay, the stamp that I used, I'm going to need birthday cards really badly right now. So the stamp that I used is also from the beautiful butterfly bundle. And it is too long to go across here. This is actually from this punch out. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp Happy Birthday on the end because I'm going to trim that. So what you're going to do is just lay it in here. You can have it hang all the way across if you want, but you don't really want it inside this area because it's going to constrict the butterfly. Oops, now I've got ink on it. I'm kind of a hot mess today. All right, so we're going to trim it right at the Happy Birthday. I guess I have Moody Mauve on my fingers. And then we're going to lay it right there. And you want to be kind of careful because it may run over on the edge a little bit, so don't put any dimensionals right on the edge of the label. Otherwise, they'll stick on your card base, and then you won't be able to open and close the card. And that would be a shame after you've gone to all this work. Okay, there we go. So then you can put a greeting on the inside if you want to, or sign your name, or do whatever it is you want with the inside there. So how do you guys like this card? I like it when it's done, but I will tell you it was 6 hours of cutting. It was kind of a lot, but it is gorgeous when it's done. So it's a special card that you're going to give to a special friend or a special family member. Okay, that's it on our projects for this month. Again, be watching for your annual catalog if you haven't gotten it yet. Be watching for it. It should arrive soon. It does not start till May 6th. There are also some online exclusive products that are coming out next month. Those come out every couple of months, and they've been really fantastic. So keep an eye on those. You might find something in there you really like. And then just final reminder, last day to order from this catalog is May 5th. I think most of you guys have gotten my email about the new Stampin' Rewards program. It's fabulous. We had free shipping this week, and quite a few of you guys earned rewards. I'm so excited for you. Any orders over $20, you will earn rewards on. So keep that in mind when you're doing your orders, and then you can redeem those on your next order, and they show right up in your online account so you can see how much you have. If you have not created an online account yet, you do need to do that in order to get those rewards. And if you need help doing that, please let me know. I can still place your orders for you, and I have a couple options of ways to do that. You're still going to have to get online a little bit if you want to get those rewards. Or I can place them under my name, but then I get the rewards, and I really want you guys to get your rewards. It's not fair, I feel, for me to be getting them. So please keep that in mind. A lot of people I know don't want to order online, and I get that too. And if you truly don't want to and you don't care about the rewards, I'm happy to take care of you that way. So again, just let me know if you need any help getting your online account set up. All right, have a really great time with your kit, and hope to see you next month at Meet the In Colors. Let me know if you have any questions about your kits. Take care.